From Barkeep, my name's Curtis. Had a buddy reach out. He was like, hey, I got a Penelope Project X. I'm like, good for you. See him everywhere. He's like, this one's new. I'm like, good for you. He's like, do you want it? I'm like, I think I'm okay. He's like, it's free. I said, son of a mother, I'm in. Penelope, Project X, nothing new necessarily to shelves, but they continue to roll out different finishes. They've done cognac, sherry, oloroso, sherry and oloroso. You're like, what else are they coming up with? Apparently, this is a maple brulee cask. I'm like, that sounds sweet. But once again, the bottle was given to me, but we're going to give it a fair shot anyways. Let's do a little background, get into some specs, and taste it. I'm still a touch worried about the sweetness that's about ready to come out of this bottle, but I am kind of a sucker for the creme brulee. So I don't know. I may be a little bit torn in this episode. So this guy's going to be a straight bourbon out of Penelope, obviously. Then they went up to Quebec, looked for some maple casks. Then they were like, let's brulee, torch. I don't know if it's like heavy torch or just your regular toasted barrel, but it contained maple syrup. I believe it's that aspect of it. And they're like, hey, let's just dump some bourbon in there and see what happens. And here we are. This guy's coming in around $70 to $80. This one's going to be 108 proof. Now, granted, that can vary store to store at this point. So your store could be 114. I would think when it comes to a finished whiskey like this, they're going to be fairly consistent at this point. But this one coming in 108, I'm like, okay, let's do that. They didn't give any finishing time. They didn't give any bourbon age, or they didn't give any mash bill of the bourbon. I'm assuming it's going to be some version of their 4-grain mash bill that they've been doing. So outside of this mysterious black wine bottle, let's get this guy poured up and see what we got. Poured up, ready to rock. I am hesitant to pour the Penelope Havana. That didn't go super well, but I do feel like it would be a good kind of comparison between maple brulee finish and a maple and rum finish. But first, let's get this guy on the nose, see what we got, and hopefully we'll remember to brush our teeth after. That's not bad. Whether it's the marketing piece and it just plants it in your mind or not, I am getting a nice toasted sugar in there. A lot of toasted sugar, actually. Maybe they forgot a portion, a little confectionery sugar. But there's actually like a nice like red apple or maybe even like a red berry jam I'm going to go with. A little toffee. I mean, it's pretty dominated by this nice toasted sugar. Maple obviously is going to be in there. But I don't think it's as thick. I think this is going to be one of those episodes to where you have to kind of continually tell yourself, this is not a bourbon. It's not even really like a finished bourbon, if you will. It's a dessert pour. I mean, you go down the liquor aisle and you grab the Penelope Black Walnut Old Fashioned. You're not planning on scoring it against, the Penelope Weeded? Probably not. So this guy needs its own lane, dessert pour. Maybe even like a nice walnut in there. Did I put that in my mind? I don't know. But there's a nice richness to it. Not sickeningly sweet, but if you poured this for me blind, I'd be slightly worried. Let's get on the pound and see. Cheers. It's sweet. Less sweet than I thought. That maple, yeah. I mean, it is a toasted sugar maple. Oh, that sweetness keeps going. Yeah, it does. A little baking spice in the back. Nice charred oak kind of on the finish as well. But boy, could I use some tobacco in there. But it's not coming. Not coming to save me. Viscosity, decent. There is I remember the Havana and even the Penelope Rio going like super viscous, very oily. I think that's a little more ramped down, probably not in a bad way, to be honest with you. The sweetness is there. It's a dessert pour, but do I feel like I would get a headache after one pour? No, which I feel like is a good thing. I don't typically gravitate towards dessert pours or even knowing that it's going to be a super sweet finished whiskey, but it's not bad. I'm trying to rate myself at dessert pour. Ultimately, it's a little more impressive than what I actually had in my mind. So let's do sip 2, see what else comes out. I don't know if a ton more came out. I mean, it's just this great maple, toasted sugar. I don't really get that vanilla custard in there, which I don't think that they were going for. I mean, this isn't the Penelope creme brulee by any means, but it accomplishes what it's trying to be for sure in a pretty decent way. Cinnamon spice just kind of lingers on the palate. A little bit of walnut kind of mixed in there. But this is going to be a straight shooter. I do appreciate the nose on it a little bit more than kind of the 2 or 3 notes that are on the palate. Doesn't dry me at all. In fact, it's kind of mouth-watering. That 108, nice feel in the chest, but also not overpowering as well. I think it's really what you would want it to be. I'm going to get the Penelope Havanas poured up over here, do a quick bounce back and forth, and see if there's a drastic difference or if maybe this is worth the chase. Let's see. All right, if you saw the spotlight of Penelope Havana, I was pretty let down. You told me that there was rum in there. I was pretty pumped, actually, as a cigar fan. I was like, this is going to be incredible. And then all I got was maple and confectionery sugar. So, haven't revisited this in a while. I try and give it out when I can. And I give it out as roadies at this point. I'm like, just take this with you. Just here's your 1.5 ounces of Havana. Enjoy. All right, let's get a quick comparison on the nose. If it's not obvious, the Glencairn, the engraved Glencairn, I should say, and the side of the Penelope, that's going to be X. I do really like that nose. That kind of toasted walnut really doing something to me right now. I'm happy I said that black walnut piece. Oh boy. Just maple candy, confectionery sugar, honey. Oh man, that is... There's more going on the maple brulee. There's not a ton more, but there's still at least more. All right, let's do the Havana. I've done this. All right, we can do this. This is like Fireball in college. You got this. Godly. Man. No. It's so sweet. It is so sweet. And it just keeps, like, circles back to sweet. It's like they rubbed maple candy into white sugar and then popped it in your mouth. It's not close. For me, it's this guy. You still get the dessertiness. This is just, it's candy. It's candy. It feels fake. I don't enjoy it. There's no way around it. I'm not trying to pull any punches. This guy, is it my wheelhouse? No, it's not. I'm just not a dessert whiskey fan, but this is probably the best overly sweet whiskey I've had. So take that for what it is. Yes, it was donated. I feel like I haven't talked it up that much, but I would much rather have this than obviously Havana. The Rio, that Amberana, just, it doesn't really do it for me. So as you've kind of seen on the channel, I would prefer it to be like a little chocolate in there if I could find it, or a little tobacco just to round it out a little bit. I do think the appearance, if you will, of kind of that toasted walnut with the very thick brulee piece. Yeah, it wasn't the creme, it was the brulee piece. I do think that those hit just right without being kind of a cheap tasting pour. Let's do this one more time so I can get that out of my mouth. I wish that red berry jam came a little bit more on the palate, but overall, coats the palate, doesn't hang around forever, but coats the palate pretty decent. And like I said, that 108 proof, it hits just right. I would be very curious why they went 108 and not maybe that 114. It's not a drastic difference, but I'd be curious if it brought a little more to the table, or did the 114 just kind of amp up the maple just a little bit more as well. I'd be curious, but ultimately, let's score this guy. So we got our census categories, throw those guys up. This one's a difficult one. Once again, I do think that it accomplishes exactly what it's meant to do in terms of a bourbon whiskey finished in a maple brulee cask. That's exactly what you get. I don't think it's marketing. I did a blind with the Penelope creme brulee one. Yeah, it was a little bit there, but this one I feel like is a little more in your face when it comes to maple and a nice toasted sugar in there. So it accomplishes what it's supposed to do. So I still got to kind of score with my gut just a little bit. So I'm going to go 75. Yeah, I think so. If it just had just something to round out or just balance it out. That's the word I'm looking for. Just balance out the sweetness just a little bit. I would be a little more intrigued by it. But ultimately, as a dessert pour, I'm not completely offended by it. And I would sip this with you. So there's that. Bang for the buck wise at $75, let's call it. Yeah, I get it. I wouldn't pay more, but once again, it probably boils down to personal preference. I didn't think the Sherry Project X was typically that great, especially when you have a pour like Sagamore Spirits that has that sherry finish that I think they just absolutely crush it there. So this one, probably one of their better Project X's. You just have to love sweet. And if you hate sweet, do the sherry or the cognac. Bang for your buck wise, I'll go 55. I'm not paying above it. I get the finishing piece of it. I don't know any ages. I don't know finishing length. So some transparency would be nice from Penelope on some of these. But yeah, that's a tough rating. I wouldn't be discouraged by the 75, but you got to know what you're in for. And I did, and I'm still just kind of wrestling with it. I can tell you I don't know what to do with Havana. So if you're in the area, you can come and pick it up from a P.O. box. So there's that. Thank you for the generous donation. I'm pretty sure I liked it. And like, subscribe. We'll see you again next week.